to know.
Hey, what's up? This is FSX23. This is my 5th video. This is going to deal with presuppositional apologetics and primarily Seitan Bruggencate. A lot of my channel has been devoted to this just because I've been interested in this argument. It seems like a new argument that is catching traction, which is scary. But the problem is it's difficult to argue against, not because it's accurate, but because it relies on word games and distraction, and it's very easy to get confused on what the terms are and what people are saying. And traditionally, it ends up being a cycle of what do you know, how do you know? So here's a little clip of basically how most of these interchanges start.
Could you be wrong about everything you claim to know?
Yes, and so could you.
Okay. When you say you could be wrong about everything you claim to know, you can't make knowledge claims about me. But I'm going to explain to you why when you say you could be wrong about everything, you don't know anything. Let's say you asked me the speed of the road outside my house right now. And I said it's 30 miles per hour, but I could be wrong. Do I know it?
Did you catch it? I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't, because I have watched dozens of these videos and I've never caught this point until now. His premise is, could you be wrong about everything you claim to know? Claim is the key word. But his conclusion is, then you cannot know anything. He's omitted the word claim from his conclusion. Now, if we reformulated this argument, could you be wrong about everything you claim to know? Well, would it make sense for your conclusion to be, can you not claim to know anything? Of course not. You could still claim to know something. Now, if we change this around another way, could you be wrong about everything you know? Well, the way they define no is absolutely no. And by definition, you could not be wrong. You would know. It's a word game. And it took me forever to figure this out. So Sai is a pretty quick talker, and he will move from point to point, and he will not give people time to actually think about what he just said. And he will go ahead and bring up a new point and make a new assumption, and he will redefine what the person said previously. So typically this is where the conversation goes right after he makes this initial claim that he claims you accepted.
Well, let me tie up the loose ends then. If I say I could be wrong, I don't know it. And when you say you could be wrong about everything, it follows that you don't know anything.
Did you catch it that time? See, the more you watch these videos, the more you catch what Sai is doing. He is playing a word game. He is changing terms, and he's hoping people won't catch him on it. Now, he's stating that the person said that they could be wrong about everything. Now, I disagree with this. I think there are basic things you can be certain of, but I'll go on to that later in the video. So, from the premise that you could be wrong about everything, he concludes that you do not know anything. And this is incorrect. The premise is you could be wrong about everything. The conclusion is not you don't know anything. The conclusion would be you don't know everything, keeping the terms the same. But he's not doing that. He's switching the terms. He's building a straw man argument, and he's hoping you won't catch it. And if you listen to a lot of their videos, they honestly admit that they don't know everything. There are certain things they can be sure of. And a lot of people arguing against him say, yes, there are certain things I can be sure of as well. My existence, for instance. And it becomes a debate about solipsism. And I'm not going to go into that because it's a headache worse than this argument. But the point being is that there are certain things we can be sure of. And I think that Sai and people like him agree with certain basic axioms that I have. But they add on an extra one, which is God. And they think that's the prime axiom. And I think the prime axiom would be my existence, the primacy of existence. But Sai decides in this video to argue against that. So let me show you how he tries to refute the primacy of existence and atheists having no basis of absolute knowledge.
Well, the problem is when you admit that you can't know anything, you can't make any knowledge claims about me. Actually, I'm going to show you why that's a logical fallacy. There's actually an atheistic philosopher, Bertrand Russell, who exposed that René Descartes' syllogism was a fallacy. And I'm going to explain it to you. Look at the first premise. The first premise is I think. The second premise is in order to think I must exist. And the conclusion is therefore I exist. The problem is the conclusion that I exist is assumed in the first premise, I think. In order to not beg the question, the first premise should be there is thinking going on. And you cannot get from there is thinking going on to I exist. And it was an atheist philosopher that refuted René Descartes.
Oh my gosh, this is laughable. I can't believe that Sai can honestly say these things with a straight face and honestly pretend as though he believes what he's saying. He's saying the logical argument is valid, therefore it's invalid. It's ridiculous. The conclusion assumes the premise. No. I think, yes, therefore I exist. Yes. In order to think, you must exist. Yes. So if you do think, you do exist. Yes. In order to think, you have to be an agent. In order to be an agent that thinks, you have to exist. Non-existent agents do not think. Of course, if you think, you exist. That is a attribute of existence. This is ridiculous. So normally at this point, Sai will move on to the next point. He won't give you time to address what you just said or he just said, and he will present a series of paradoxes.
Okay. Tell me something that you know that could be false. You know it to be true, which could be false.
Tell me something that is true that could be false. All right, by your definition of what true is, it's absolutely true. It has to be. So nothing can be true that is false. Why would you even ask this question? You're just trying to confuse people.
So you would say that truth is what corresponds to reality. You have a correspondence theory of truth.
Yep.
Okay, how do you know it's real?
And down the rabbit hole we go. Sai will continue to add new terms, truth, reality. How do you know what is real? And he will continue to bring up false assumptions that he made previously. He will continue to play word games. And he will continue to not actually defend his own position. Now, he argues that the atheist position is viciously circular. His is virtuously circular. And it's not. His entire argument is based on the existence of God, and he refuses to argue evidentialism. So he is presenting an argument without evidence and stating that it is justified by itself, which is circular. This is ridiculous, and hopefully people will be able to call this out, and these arguments will go in a better direction. I think people accept way too many of their premises for the sake of argument. Sai is more than willing to walk out of a debate or leave the debate, like I've shown in previous videos. So he's not an honest debater, and the person arguing against him, your job is not to play his game. Your job is to show what he is doing is ridiculous. And I didn't really show much of the guy who he was debating in this video, just because I don't think he was a very good representative of atheist or anyone challenging that position. But in conclusion on this video, I will show you how this guy ended it. It wasn't classy, it wasn't right, but I guess it gave me a chuckle, so enjoy, and see you guys next time.
You've admitted that raping babies for fun could
No,
be
I
right.
haven't. I had said there could be a situation. I never said there was.
That's exactly what you said. It could be all right.
I don't know the situation.
I hope you don't babysit anybody.
You're just making claims about me and trying to put me out as a bad person because you've learned from that little cunt bag Ray Comfort. So, yeah.
Watch your mouth.
Fuck you.